polyester shirt today. I haven't worn this shirt in quite a while. So we will be doing the air signs readings today. That's going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So to clear the space today, I'm going to be using this singing bowl, and I'm going to ring it 3 times, and that will be using elemental air energy to clear the space. And then if you would like, you can take some deep and cleansing breaths. There we go. You can imagine as you inhale the divine white light of Source coming in through the crown of your head and filling your entire body from the tip of your head down through your toes and the heels and soles of your feet into the ground. And then as you exhale, imagine all of the negative energy, any tension, any stress, anything like that you're holding on to. Just sigh all of that out and allow it to return to Source, to be transmuted. And take some deep breaths that way. Just inhale and breathe in the light of Source, and then exhale. And exhale any negative energy or tension or physical discomfort. And breathe in. And exhale. This week for the readings, I'm going to be using the Aquarian Tarot. And I will also be using this deck, which I call the Lunacy deck. It's a deck that I made myself. And it has 3 parts. The first part is the lunar mansions. The next part is moon phases. We had the full moon just last night, as of the day that I'm doing this reading, which is February 16th of 2022. These are timeless readings, so whatever day you are watching the reading, I trust it will apply to you. And then the third part of the deck is the major arcana from the tarot. And these are my interpretations of the major arcana cards. So I took a lot of Gnostic scripture and interpreted the cards through that filter. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to be reading first for the sign of Gemini. So, Gemini, if you would, just kind of relax. Allow your mind and your consciousness to open up. Consider, if you would, anything that you'd like to know about in the weeks, months, or years ahead. And if these things that you would like to know about are stressful for you, just gently breathe through it as we did in the breathing exercises. Breathe in the divine white light of Source and sigh out anything that is no longer serving you. And I did have some cards spill out immediately, so we'll go with that. Okay, some fours. Ooh, interesting. I'm also going to deal out these cards. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Full moon in Sagittarius. That is going to be during Gemini season. Interesting. Okay. So let's look at these cards first. So I did get, for your lunar cycle card, I got the full moon. We did just go through the full moon last night, as a matter of fact, or this morning, depending on where you live. This could be the fullest point of a situation as well. That if you are in the middle of a cycle where the energy is at its fullest point, the full moon could also be talking about cycles within your life. The major arcana card that I have for you, this says Mentis, and this is the High Priestess card. Mentis is a word that means, that has to do with knowing and understanding. And we have the two pillars in the back here, and the idea being that the High Priestess herself, who is an oracle, kind of straddles these two worlds and provides this kind of bridge between them. This is a lunar card, so the moon rules the High Priestess card, and thus it can be associated with the water signs in general. The moon is also the ruling luminary of the astrological sign of Cancer. And in the major arcana of the tarot, the moon card is associated with Pisces. So those things can be true. This is the letter gamma. It has the value of 3. And the lunar mansion that I have pulled for you today, Gemini, is Al-Na'am, the beam. It has to do with the arrow of Sagittarius. So that's why I was saying full moon in Sagittarius. And that would be during Gemini season, Gemini solar season. So Al-Na'am is the 20th lunar mansion. It's a station of favor and delight. And the themes of this lunar mansion has to do with being a hunter, a targeted pursuit of a goal, taming or containing of aggressive forces, and alliance. It is also good for going on roads and quickly returning. Questions involving a quest or reaching a goal and actively pursuing that. So not kind of being like, oh, if I sit back and wait, good things will happen. This would be a much more active, seize the day type energy. Oh, I didn't write down the timestamp for Sagittarius, so I'm going to make a guess and then check back later. I beg your pardon for Gemini. So I'll try see if this is right. Okay. So the past for Gemini. We have the Eight of Wands, and this card is appearing upright in the past, which lets me know that the situation is ongoing into the current situation, into your current state of affairs. So the Eight of Wands is about closure, and it is about finite endings. You can see all of these wands flying in a downward trajectory. They will strike the earth. They will fall with a clatter. It is not a painful ending like the Ten of Swords, but there is closure associated with it and finality. So that is coming to pass, moving into your current situation. We're going to look at the significator now, where we have the Justice card. So this could have to do with a court case. It could have to do with some kind of mediation. This can be involving a work situation or anything involving two parties needing to reach a point of balance. So this can be in relationships, friendships, like if there's a friendship that had become unbalanced, that might be balancing at this time. We also have this crossed by the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is a card referring to things from the past. So it can be nostalgia. It can be things from your childhood. And in the case where it's crossing the Justice card like this, it can be things returning from the past. So if there was a settlement that was reached in the past and you haven't been getting the money that you deserve for that, that would be something returning from the past at this time. So anything related to that is a possibility. We're going to talk now about the MMC lie. So when you have the 12 houses spread laid out on top of the Celtic cross spread, down here at the bottom is the cusp of the third and fourth houses. And this tells us about the origins and foundations of all of the situations that we'll be seeing in the goal or destiny position up here in the midheaven. So what we have down in the MMC lie is the Four of Swords reversed. This could be a need for rest and rejuvenation that is not being recognized. Either you feel like you can't take a break, you're not getting a break, or that you have not been paying attention to health concerns. So I would urge you to at least try to take better care of yourself at this time and get some rest, Gemini, even if you are very busy. For the future, we have another four, and it's the Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands can be a card of marriage. It is a card of celebration, and it is also a card of happily ever after, but knowing that this book has a sequel. So we do have these two fours back to back, and it would make sense if you're planning for some kind of celebration that you might be very busy and you might not have a chance to spend time taking care of yourself. So that's understandable. And we did have, remember, this Eight of Wands in the past. So Four of Swords plus Four of Wands, bringing in that ending, or as a result of that ending. Now, finally, up in the midheaven. So this is going to be having to do with your goal or destiny. We have the Ten of Wands here. And the Ten of Wands is upright in the future position. So this is more of a predestined energy. And it has to do with burdens and oppression, and could be directly related to not taking time for oneself during this current situation. There is a lot of directed action at this time. So this lunar mansion energy is good for that directed action. And the High Priestess showing up here. So all your future cards are upright. The only card that's showing up reversed in your reading is this Four of Swords, not taking care of oneself. And so I think that you already know and have an awareness of what is going to be happening in the future. You've made your plans. The High Priestess, this is the number 3, but the High Priestess is also the number 2 because the Fool card is 0. But there's an idea there of the High Priestess being aligned with the other 2s in the minor arcana. So things like the Two of Wands, where we're looking at planning, the Two of Pentacles, where we're talking about balance. Even the Two of Cups, if this is a card of marriage. If you're not putting yourself first now, when are you going to do that? There's not exactly similarities between the High Priestess and the Justice card, but let's look at the parallels for a moment. Again, we have this figure of the High Priestess kind of bridging between the two worlds and creating this balance, which is what we see in the Justice card as well. So this Justice card for you, Gemini, might be more about the balance of a situation and not as much about any kind of right or wrong. But I would urge you, because with these burdens showing up in the future, it is Saturn in Sagittarius energy. So we do have a fair amount of your oppositional energies showing up here in Sagittarius. That perhaps this action without rest cannot be sustained. Saturn in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is all of the things that we do to elevate ourselves, these ninth house properties, things like higher education, relationships to spiritual organizations, long distance travel, right? So Saturn is a very slow-moving planetary energy and is very established. So for things that you want to be stable, it's good. But when we're talking about travel, obviously, if you are trying to travel a long distance, you don't want to be moving super slowly. And the same thing with your education. You want it to be moving at a reasonable pace, not too fast, not too slow. You want to be able to absorb these things. So there's a lot going on here in your reading today, Gemini. I do see good forward motion. I do see things coming into balance. And I think most of all, my caveat for you in this reading, Gemini, is just to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're taking care of your physical vessel and getting the rest you need, trying to take care of yourself at this particular juncture, because that is going to be what sets you up for the future. All right, so that is the Gemini reading for this week. And now I'm going to move on to the sign of Libra. Libra, 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 Libra. And Libra, if you would, just kind of relax and allow any concerns that you'd like to address in the reading today to float up to the forefront of your thoughts and just let them wait there. If anything about these issues is stressing you out, gently breathe through them. So inhale and draw in the divine white light of Source. Allow it to flood through your entire body. And then exhale. Just sigh out any of that stress or tension that you might be holding on to. All right. Lots of pentacles in your reading today, Libra. Okay. So sometimes I throw cards on the floor, and that to me has special significance. If I pull a card and then I throw all the cards on the floor and one of them is face up, it's almost like the universe saying, no, this is the card you were supposed to take. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, Libra, let me mark down your timestamp. There we go. Libra, for you today, we have the Chariot card. So the treasuries are the seat within which the emanations of you are kept. This, I believe, is the letter Eta, and it is the number 8. And then this card is also associated with the sign of Cancer. So the Chariot card has a lot of mobility associated with it and has victories associated with it. It's a card of action. We're looking at new moon energies, so this could be the very beginning of a new cycle for you. a new cycle of victory and mobility. And we don't have any cups here in your reading, but we do have your lunar mansion is Al Awa, which is the first lunar mansion of Virgo, the 13th lunar mansion overall. And the themes of this lunar mansion are conjunction, can be about erotic bonds, alchemical marriage, union, sexuality, and vital energy. So there might be new love coming into your life at this time, Libra. That is a possibility. The 13th mansion is the fulfillment of the longing and struggles of the 12th mansion. Rather than a dichotomy of negative and positive, the two mansions are two aspects of the same reality. Without distance and deprivation, there can be no love. Without separation, there can be no union. So there we go. Tying in the idea of that victory and mobility after hardship. And this, of course, is the book that I use when I'm talking about the lunar mansions. I myself am still learning about them. I will have a video coming out on Friday about the lunar mansions. So, for you in the past, Gemini, we have this card, the Nine of Wands, and it is upright. So, whatever had happened in the past for you, Libra, it looks like you are very guarded about what you have. It could be guarded about your emotions. It could be guarded about your personal space and your boundaries. The Nine of Wands is a card very much about boundaries and maintaining those boundaries with other people. We have a really good energy actually here in the place of the significator too, Libra, where we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is a card about evaluation of the effort that you have put into a certain project and then weighing that against what you have gotten out. And this is crossed by the Two of Pentacles. So that's a very good card for you, Libra. And these two cards together tell me that you are balancing at this time the amount of effort that you are putting into things and then the payoff that you're getting out of them. You're bringing those things into balance at this time. Down here in the Imam so the Imam is kind of the cusp of the third and fourth houses. You can imagine the 12 houses wheel laid out on top of the Celtic cross spread. And down at the bottom in the cusp of the third and fourth houses, we look at all of the origins and foundations upon which the future is going to be built. So down in the Imam we have an air sign, swords, but showing up reversed. So this is interesting because the Queen of Swords is about speaking one's truth. And when she shows up reversed, she can be very ruthless, very cutthroat, mercenary, the kind of person who would bump someone else off to get what they want and not think twice about it. But the Queen of Swords in the reverse could also be showing up here if you are holding your tongue too much, if you are not speaking your truth at this time. So both of those things are possible. We have lots of Pentacles energy in your reading today, Libra. So this could have to do with money, but keep in mind too that the suit of pentacles, which is earth sign energy, is about bringing things down into the physical plane from up in the ether, the the process of manifestation. And so the pentacles can be money, but they can also be other things like your energy, other physical resources. And some of these things could have to do with your romantic life. We did have the lunar mansion of Al Awa here, but it can also have to do with what we're seeing here with this balance. The love that you feel could be for your livelihood. If you love what you do for work, for example, and really achieving that balance is kind of what we're seeing here. The marriage of seemingly disparate and dichotomized parts. Here in the future, we have the Queen of Pentacles showing up in the upright. So this is a fertile proliferation of resources. The Queen of Pentacles could also be an earth sign person. For some of you Libras, this might be a love reading. And in that case, this Queen of Pentacles would be somebody who is an earth sign, perhaps has generational wealth, doesn't necessarily need to be a woman, but is able to maintain wealth and take the wealth that they have and grow more resources with it. So that is a very excellent energy to have there in the future placement. And up here in the midheaven. So remember that this is going to be a direct result of whatever these actions are down in the Imam Sili. So whether this is being utterly ruthless or even biting one's tongue in favor of keeping the peace. The result of that and the goal or destiny for your reading today, Libra, is the Knight of Pentacles. And this Knight of Pentacles is about money coming towards you. And I feel like when the Knight of Pentacles is upright, that money is coming towards you very quickly. Resources rushing in for you. And remember, we were talking about the beginning of this new cycle of mobility and victory. I think money is going to be a key component in that. So that is going to conclude the Libra reading for the air signs today. And now we're going to be moving on to the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius. So Aquarius, if you would, I'm just turning these cards over for when I go do the extended over on the member side of the channel, if you're interested. Aquarius, if you would just relax. Allow your mind to open, and anything that you would like to address in this reading, just allow it to gently float to the forefront of your thoughts and wait there to be addressed. Now, if these things are stressful for you, just breathe through them very gently, Aquarius. Inhale and draw down into yourself the divine white light of Source. And then exhale and sigh out any tension or strain, anything that no longer serves you, any physical discomfort. Just breathe through it very gently. And yes, okay. So I'm just going to write down very quickly your timestamp. We didn't spend very long on the Libra reading today, but I think I said everything that I needed to say about that. All right, so the Major Arcana card that I have for you today, Aquarius, this is the moon. This is the letter Rho, and it has a value of 100. And then we're also talking about the water sign of Pisces, which is the ruling sign of this card in the Major Arcana. On this card, we see this long and winding path through the darkness. On the one side, we have the docile, domesticated pigs. On the other side, we have this feral hog. It really only takes a few months in the wild for domesticated pigs to start growing tusks and very coarse hair. The moon card is about unclear circumstances, and it can also be about arts and other creative endeavors, music, visual arts, performance, dance, and the like. So we're looking at the lunar cycle of the waning crescent. This is right before the new moon. So in the Libra reading, we were dealing with the new moon, and then we also had Al-Awa, which is the first lunar mansion in Virgo. And here we're dealing with Al-Simak, which is also within the sign of Virgo. This is the next lunar mansion after Al-Awa. And the 14th lunar mansion of Al-Simak is the unarmed. So you can see that it has to do with this sheaf of wheat being held in the hand of the constellation of Virgo. And the themes of this lunar mansion are severance, breaking apart of restrictive or inappropriate bonds, and dissolution. So things might be very unclear at this time because we are closing out a cycle where perhaps there was bondage, perhaps there were boundaries and restrictions that are being broken apart at this time. But that can be kind of a confusing time. And so it would make sense that we would have the moon card come out there. Let's look here at the past of the situation. And in fact, here we have the Judgment card. So the Judgment card has to do with change. It is ascending to a different plane of existence. It is testing and initiation, being evaluated for one's performance or one's self. And because this card is in the upright Aquarius, this is actually Pluto planetary energy, but then fire elemental energy, pure fire energy, transformative properties of fire, trial by fire. Because it's upright, I can see that you have been currently going through this trial and that it is affecting the current situation for you. Here in the place of the significator, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is about group work. It is also about your professional reputation. You may have recently gotten a raise or a promotion at work based on this evaluation. That is entirely possible. The Judgment card can be much more about spiritual matters as well, but it can apply to mundane situations. Crossing the Three of Pentacles, we have another three, and this is the Empress card. The Empress card is feminine creative force. So aligned with the planet Venus, and therefore also aligned with the signs of Taurus and with Libra, so your fellow air sign. The Empress card, aside from being the divine feminine and a very motherly energy, can also be about these long-term projects that require a lot of time to develop, the same way that a fetus takes a lot of time to develop before it is ready to come out into the world. The Empress card here can also be referring to traditionally feminine work. Textiles, arts and crafts, having an Etsy store, being a girl boss. Doesn't necessarily have to mean that. And even if you are not a woman or don't identify with your feminine energies, the Empress card can be more like these long-term projects and nurturing a project and allowing it to flourish along the way, which we would see a lot of that with that Three of Pentacles energy. Down here in the MMCLI, we have more of this energy related to the sign of Scorpio, whose ruling planet is Pluto. And this would be more of this kind of idea of transformation and change. So everything down in the MMCLI, if you imagine that there's a 12 houses spread laid out on top of the Celtic cross, down in the MMCLI, cusp of the third and fourth houses, we're looking at the foundations upon which the goal or destiny will take shape. So there's a lot of change going on right now. And because we had this lunar mansion of Alcimac, it could be that a lot of bonds are being broken right now. A lot of restrictions are being cleared out of the way for you, Aquarius. Opening things up. Here in the future, this card is showing up in the upright. And it is the Four of Cups. So this card is about all of these options and manifesting the right option for you. So we can see that this option is descending, right? It's being brought down from the heavens. And we have all of these options that are already available stacked in front of this person, but they aren't taking any action toward this at this time. They're not really taking any action visibly that we can see toward that option being manifested either. It's a card of meditation, but it's also urging you not to wait too long. Do evaluate your options properly, but don't think that you can hold out indefinitely. And the final card for your reading today, Aquarius. Up in the midheaven, this is your goal or destiny, and it's based on all of the changes and transformation that is going on right now. And up here in the midheaven, we have the Six of Swords. The option for mobility may be opening up to you in the future. So when the cards show up reversed like this in future positions, that has to do with potential energies, and it's going to depend on what you choose here in the future. It's also going to depend on how you handle this transformation. Whatever this transformation is, this card is upright. So those events will be taking place. But how you respond to them, how you deal with them, and how you move on from there is going to be the determining factor for this. But if you have wanted to move, if you've wanted to relocate, if you've wanted to take a trip, this is going to be an excellent energy for that to take place, Aquarius. Thank you so much for joining me for the readings today. I want to say a big thank you to all of you who watch my videos faithfully and regularly. Your support is so greatly appreciated. And if you would like, share, subscribe, and ring the little bell, I would appreciate that even more. I'm going to go over to the members side of the channel now and do the extended forecast, and I will be doing that with this beautiful piece of Icelandic spar as my shoe stone. So if that interests you, you are invited, but your presence is not required. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.